Hey y'all, let's make a chuck pot roast. But we're going to do it in Insta Pot because there was a couple of people wanted me to show them how to use the Insta Pot. Now I'm going to do this. I'm going to start it on top of the stove because I want to sear it, like get a good sear on it first, and then I'll do it over in the Insta Pot. And I'm going to do it the way Mama used to do hers. And she didn't, of course, have an Insta Pot. She would sear it on the stove, fill it with water, boil it all day. But we're going to skip that part. If you get a really good roast with good tender meat and you boil it for hours like that, then it turns out delicious. But since we've got the Insta Pot, we'll do that. But we'll start it out in the skillet, browning it and getting good and seared. Now, I don't rinse my meat. I'm not going to rinse that roast. I'm just going to pour me some buttermilk over it right here and let it be soaking up in that. We'll flip it to do both sides. Get that piece of paper out of it. Well, I can't. That's stuck. I'm just going to leave it. And then I'm going to put a little bit more on the top. Then I'll wash my hands and my jug off so y'all don't freak out. I'll do it. Hold on, let me do that. I'll pause it. Okie dokie. Now we're just going to let that sit there a second. Go there and turn that water back off. It's a Monday. Happy Monday, y'all. It's actually not been a bad day. It's been a good day. I've just been really dragging today. I started to do this live and I thought, no, Melissa, you're too slow. I got up at 3:30 in the morning and I ain't been back to sleep yet. And I'm like a walking zombie. I'm tired. I don't know why I woke up, and I woke up wide open. Couldn't go back to sleep. All right, I'm going to use this pie plate, and I'm going to put me some flour in it real quick, and then we'll mix up some spices. Okay, into that, I'm going to put a pack of ranch dressing. I don't believe I have any au jus, which is what I would use if it was on most of them, but I'll use it in where we sear it. And I'm going to also use a little bit of this roasted garlic and bell pepper. That is called the Gourmet Collection. You can find them at like Ross, TJ Maxx. I'm going to put a good bit of that. There's a lot of flour in that. And then we'll do a little bit of steakhouse seasoning. All these are, well, most of them. This one you can get in the Walmart. That, like I said, it's TJ Maxx, Ross. Then we're just going to mix that up good. I'll salt and pepper it too. So we'll do that. Actually, I'll probably just pepper it. So I'm going to use, if I've got some beef bouillon in the broth that's going to go over this, and it'll have a lot of salt. Okay, while that skillet is heating up to sear this in, because you want it good and hot, so you get a pretty sear on it, I'm going to cut up this for a quarter of this onion, because it's going to go in there with it. The rest of my vegetables won't go in until this cooks at least an hour. But you don't want your vegetables overdone. So that's the thing about using this pressure cooker, but it's well worth it because you'll have to stop and, let it steam and open it up and put your vegetables in there in a little while. But it don't take very long for it to come to pressure. And it sure don't take as long as if you were doing it on top of the stove or even in the oven for that matter. So those are quartered. We're about to sear our roast. I'm going to go ahead and fill this to pretty much max. Now you do not have to use the better than bouillon. In fact, this usually has plenty of flavor with your vegetables and stuff, but I'm going to use a little bit of it in here. Mix that up. Some plastic so I'm not killing your ears. I just want to knock that around and get it stirred up and put it in a clump. All right, my skillet is smoking over here. So let's get over here and do our stuff. I mean, it's hot. I need to hurry. I need to hurry. Just drag around it. And we're just going to flour it really well. Or try. Pick up a bunch of that. And then we'll sear it. Sear. Sear. I'll get it right in a minute, y'all. Brown it. How's that? And then we're just going to let that brown. I'm going to throw this in the trash. I'll pause y'all while I wait on that. Now this is the way Mama done hers. And then she would just take a stock pot and do the water like I did. And she would put the roast down in that water. And then a little bit of flour that you've got on your roast kind of makes a little bit, you have a little bit thick. It don't make a gravy, but it makes it a wee bit thicker. Your juice. And I'll put carrot, onion, potato in it. And I don't know what we'll have on the side. I mean, to me, that's full meal, but I'll make something green on the side. I'll either do some cabbage. Maybe I'll just boil some cabbage. Or I'll do limas or green beans or something along those lines. Something green. We'll figure that as we go. Not quite yet. That's going to try to come off the bottom because well, that's brown. It's just wanting to come loose, which is okay. My stove really ain't hot enough. As hot as that skillet was, I have got to adjust these flames. They're all different, and some of them are shooting up orange, and I think that means I'm not getting the amount of gas that I'm supposed to. Right now it's all blue, but I notice sometimes I get an orange, which I think is a sign that the gas ain't flowing like it ought to. Right now it's getting blue. Let's look at this one back here. Love that one's so tiny, even on high. And you don't have to sear it. I just like sear it. I like the flavor of it. I like and you can just do it plain. You don't have to put the crust on it. But I like that little bit of extra flour in there. And sometimes I still thicken up that juice because it's easier when you stick to sop it up with a good old buttermilk biscuit. I could make us a biscuit, I guess. I probably will. I've got biscuits left over. It's just not the type I'd eat with this. I got a few crab bacon biscuits left. So we'll just let that get brown and I'll be back. Y'all, I flipped it, my stuff come off in it, which is perfectly fine. I'll just put that over here. We'll brown this and we'll just add it all. Either way it works. I'm going to try to hold it here. Just sear the sides a little bit. About needs a good cutting in half the way this thing's made. All right, let's take these. Well, I'll put that on bottom. We'll do that first. All right, I'm going to go ahead and we're just going to go right over here in real time, and then I'll lower y'all in a second so you can see the dials on the Insta Pot. Then we're just going to check this and hope it fits in that little bitty thing. I tried not to fill that all the way to the fill line because this is going to make that raise quite a bit. I have to get a little out. So I will say, when you're using your Insta Pot, don't go over your fill line. And don't put anything. You want to make sure you got liquid or some sort of oil because they have a safety feature on them. Like, say, for instance, this one. I'm going to drop this over in here if I can get it over here without hitting the cabinet. They have a safety feature on them that will set them off. Like if I tried to, that's why I did not sear that in there. You'll see a bunch of people do it. I won't. I will not. Because once you sear something there, it triggers that safety feature. And then forever are trying to clean the bottom of it good enough to get it to work. So I prefer to sear mine somewhere else and then put it over in here. So the ones of you that are real nervous about using it, this one is so much safer than just a straight up pressure cooker. Now let me get y'all down here where you can see these buttons. All right. I got that right at the max line. I'll let y'all see that. I took my 1 cup scooper and scooped about a cup out of that. And then we're going to drop these onions in there just for some extra flavor for now. And then I'll put some more later because those will cook away. Anything you put in here now is going to be cooking away. This is not flashing. Oh, it's not doing it no more. It's weird. It was doing it for a minute. And it's probably backwards. I don't know if that's going to show up for y'all. And I'm sure you're going to have a different type of button. Oh, well, we got to get let me do the lid. Let me show you all the pieces and parts. Okay, here is your lid. Obviously, I'm having to hold this up. Now, in here, you'll have this little rubber seal. Y'all, I'm showing this to somebody specifically if you're wondering, in case y'all already know how to use it. Some of you don't. Make sure that it's back behind, and sometimes I even take like olive oil and we'll rub it, but it's not necessary today. You don't have to do that. Anyway, make sure it's back behind that little thing, and it'll come that way if you've got one. This, on this particular one, goes to the back. So first, you've got to get your lid on and lock it. This is where your safety features come in on this one. And I know that goes back, so it's going to sit like this. You heard that do that. Then you hear it click and lock. You've also got, I'm having a hard time seeing what I'm doing. I don't know if y'all got good lighting. This, and then there's a part that will say venting, and then this is closed. When we turn it on, you want it closed. When I take this meat out and I want to check it before we put our vegetables in, we'll hit this and the steam will come up, but I'll show y'all that in a bit. So we're going to make sure it's locked up now, closed, and then we'll come back down here. And since we're doing a roast, mine already, see, has all these buttons. I'm going to hit meat, stew, but I'm going to add time to that because I know I want to go at least 50 minutes. I think I'm going to go on at least an hour. We're going to cook this an hour before I even think about putting vegetables in it. And then it'll cook another 30 minutes. So maybe it'll be just falling apart, which is the way I like my roast. I didn't have to do anything else. I just hit that. I hit the buttons to go up on the time I wanted, and then you just wait. If you wanted to change your pressure level to, like, say, low pressure, you would, hit that button. But we don't want to do that. We want it on high pressure. It's on. Now, it won't start counting down until it builds up to steam. And that'll take a few minutes. That's why I said, even though it cooks fast, if you're going to do something like a roast and you got to stop it and you got to let the steam out and you got to put the vegetables back in and then turn it back on for another 30 minutes, allow yourself a little bit extra time. It ain't like you're going to cook something on the stove 6 hours, but it's going to end up taking this. By the time that cools down, I let the steam out a good hour and 45 minutes or so before it's complete. So that part is done. Now we just wait for it to build up to pressure. It'll start counting down for an hour, and then we'll come back, we'll let the steam out, and we'll throw our other veggies in. And it's truly locked. That's not like an old-timey pressure cooker. To me, they're much safer. So I wouldn't be nearly as afraid to use that as I would the old ones. And I used the old ones, and I blew one up one time. No joke. With chicken and dumplings in it, I think. And it went all over the ceiling. Those are kind of scary. Never would that happen with this one. Unless you it wouldn't happen with this one. They're just two different ball games. This is plugged in. It's not sitting on top of a hot eye. It's just totally different. It's got safety features. No, I'm not selling them. I'm not making no money. I'm just trying to help a couple of ladies that wanted to know about them. We'll be back. So that being said, if you want one I think Kelly said she had one. But if somebody don't have one and you want one just like this one that I'm showing you on, I believe Tammy has that on her website under the appliances at www.colorvalleycooks.com. So if for some reason you want one, you can look over there. Since we're here, let's just make us some cabbage. I'm just going to do straight up stewed cabbage. I have to get some of this off of here. It looks a little bit rough. Let me cut it around. It's done been washed. It's just been, I've had them in the fridge for a little bit. I was going to put them up and do some sauerkraut, and I never did go get me any jars. And I'll just do them myself. We'll just eat it. They'll last forever if you wrap them like that. And we about ate them all. I think I got 2 left. No joke. That's something I could eat just constantly. These were given to me and brought from somewhere, and they were pretty rough shape. But by the time you got all the stuff around the outside cut off, they were in good shape. I'm just having to do it a second time. And I don't do nothing to my cabbage. I mean, you can fry the skillet, you can steam it, we could make cabbage steaks, but I'm not going to do all that. We're going to do it in some water and some butter and eat it with a biscuit and some roast carrots and potatoes. Maybe I ought to call Daddy and Teresa and see if they eat pretty early, though, and I probably won't have this done until 6:30, so. Suppose I should have started it a little earlier. We're not that hungry, so a late supper was okay with me. I tell you, got to where I cook, and then by the time I cook, and I nibble the whole time I'm cooking, I don't want to eat the meal after I cook, but I will this one. This is one of my favorite meals, and we ain't had a roast in a while. Then I'm just going to fill this water and butter and put it on the eye. I don't mean fill it with water. I put a couple of inches in the bottom of it and some butter. Okay, now I've hit the off button, and it's time to put the veggies in. Then I'm going to take this part, and you're going to let your steam out. Just like that. You don't try to open it. It wouldn't open anyway until that's finished. In there. Our cabbage is looking good. It's almost done. I'll mix up a biscuit in a minute as soon as I get these vegetables in here. I'm going to preheat this oven. I'm going to do that here in a minute. I don't know if I'll get all these vegetables in there. I got a big old plate pile there, and I got onions behind me. Come on, come on, come on, come on. La da da. Now you had to be 7 o'clock before we get to eat. See how it won't open, even if I wanted to open it. So I said it's got good safety features. I will not open until that seam is totally released. Let's see, we're closer. But it still won't let me open it. It's at least turning now. I should be able to get it open any minute. There we go. We'll let you open it until it's time. And then I'm going to have to be real careful. I'm probably going to have to empty some of my juice. I'm going to reserve it. for a bit. We'll use this big. Because I got to add all these veggies, and I got a lot of them to add. So I want to get a lot of this juice out of here so I don't go over my fill line. Roast must have had a lot of water in it. We were below that fill line when we started. Well, I mean, the meat pushed it up a little bit, but still, I had to have some water in it because that was a lot more juice than I had in there. All right, we've got that down below the max line. Let's see if I can just pour this stuff over in here. All of it will go. Well, it's pushing it. But we're going to do it anyway. And then I'm going to grab my onion. It's just quartered behind me. I got a couple of idalias quartered up. And then back on she goes. And this time she don't have to go as long. We'll do about half an hour. Make sure you got that, hear that air. You won't have to do that the first time. There we go. Push it over. Go back to where it's not venting anymore. Venting is up here. Go back to close it. We're going to go down there. And this time I'm just going to hit the plus button. Well, no, I'm not. I'm just going to hit pressure cook. Because I don't see a button for veggies. And then I'm going to go down to like 30 minutes. Which is way plenty of time for those. And let it do its thing. It'll automatically do its thing. And make a pan of biscuits to go with this. I can't eat a roast without a biscuit to eat juice with. I'm going to have the lid all messy. I'll have to fix that in a minute. The whole thing is going to be messy. I wasn't really going to make that many. That's why I got this tinier skillet. So we don't need that many. Yeet. I'm going to stop there. It's plenty. I don't need to keep going and incorporate all that flour. I'll have more than I need. For just us. Okay, in they go. Our biscuits are done and our pressure cooker is just about to stop, and I'll be able to let the steam out. Here's our biscuits. A little butter and go across them. Hear that sizzle? The bottom's crunchy. Yummy. Here's our cabbage. So we got a yummy cabbage, some good old biscuits. Okie dokie, I just stopped it. We gotta wait to let this air go. I'm gonna pause it just so the video is not longer than it already is. Let me tell you that. You see that spewing? When you overfill it, that's what happens. Just take a towel and make a mess. Make sure it ain't over your cabinet. That's because it's got too much stuff in it. Not gonna hurt anything. It's just gonna be a little extra messy. I'll redirect it. I have to wash out under my cabinet. But if this happens to you, don't freak out. No big deal. Just wipe it up. Just don't overfill it like I did. But I took some of it out. You see where the vegetables still kind of went over. And that's why. I think now we're about over the wet part. And do not put your hand over it. That stuff will burn you good. Okay. I was going to put a little cornstarch in this extra broth, and there's a wee bit in there, but I don't think it's enough. It's going to thicken it up. I didn't realize I was out. Finally. Now be very careful with this too, because I've noticed this. Stand back and do that. You see that bubble like that? I've noticed that with these Insta Pots. So don't walk right up to it. Without knowing that. So there you go. There's another little valuable piece of information. Just now what I'm going to do is get some of this out. See how tender that is? And I turned it off 10 minutes early both times. Like I set it for an hour the first time. I set it for 30 minutes the second time. I'm going to put this over there, but I don't think it's going to thicken it any because I don't have enough. I usually thicken it up with just a little bit of cornstarch with some of the juice. Now I'm going to make a plate. I just dipped some out in the bowl so I could let y'all go when I can upload the video. But here's the roast and the vegetables and our corn and this. And I'll tell you what I'll do. This is how I make Tillman's. I'll just make him one and show y'all. Need a knife. We'll use this.
Call me?
No. I need a knife. Let me get a knife. I'm going to tear that biscuit all to pieces. I think I already did. Which is fine because his is going to get all crumbled up anyway. Yeah, I did. Tear it off. fight. Yum, yum. This is typically how I do him. And then he gets a lot of the, I'll do that over here. I just take and pour him a bunch of juice over his stuff. Then we'll get, let me have another fork. Get some meat off of there. That meat's super tender too, so it'll be, see how easy that is? That's the wonderful thing about an Insta Pot. You don't need a knife. The meat's just fork tender. Just some cabbage. Y'all hear him yelling? He's up there yelling at the ball game. We'll bring him down tomorrow to do a video. Get him some potatoes and carrots over here. He's having a fit about something. I don't think the breads are on yet, but they might be. Might be them by now. Give him a little more juice. That's our supper tonight, y'all. I hope you've had a great Monday, and we will see you tomorrow night.